Hey there, another installment of my methods. This in response to a Kiltmaker down in the States, I believe, who'd asked me about details of constructing the buttonhole. Now the buttonhole, of course, is the hole in the kilt that the strap passes through on the left hip. And the way I do this, because as I've mentioned elsewhere, I do the pleats first before I do the outer apron. So I measure up from the top of the kilt, or down from the top of the kilt, and for an adult male it's almost always 2.5 inches. And mark it, and then I mark the width of the strap. Then I sew the fell down to that chalk mark, overcast it a few times. I do a blind stitch that you can't even see here, overcast on the other side, and then sew to the top. And you'll see that there's a bit of an overlap there. And that is an improvement on the earlier method, which didn't have an overlap, because when the kilt was on tight you could see a glimpse of shirt through the hole. It's also been given a very heavy Bartack, which I'll go into in a minute. Now on the other side, on the inside, this is where my methods depart radically from everybody else's. People will often have a narrow strip of reinforcing canvas sewn to stiffen up this loop, but I get by that by when I put in my broad canvas, which is one piece with no alterations, no cuts, no omissions, from the buckle to the strap. And often I'll see canvases that are installed in sections that aren't joined together, and it accomplishes nothing, because we want that to act as a belt. So the canvas comes right up into this crease, and then the canvas for the outer apron comes right up under this first pleat, so that there's a little bit of an overlap. Now both of them are sewn on with a herringbone stitch, and you can see it here as I've used a contrasting thread to make it easier for you to see. So they're both sewn to the respective, the canvases are both sewn with a herringbone stitch, and then I very carefully do an overcasting stitch, which is basically lacing the two bits of canvas together, so that in the end we have a seam which is far stronger than anything else that anybody else is doing, because the most common repair I've had is this seam being blown apart because it's a weak point, or a potential weak point. So having done that, I then do a Bartack top and bottom, and as you can see, mine are quite bigger than everyone else's, because they have to be big enough, they're long enough so that they're capturing both bits of, they're anchored in both bits of canvas. They're tying this together. A small Bartack really accomplishes nothing. So there we are. The heavy, I've run out of things to say, so I'm just going to stop there.